What's up guys, this is Coach Donnie with ElevateYourself.org. I wanted to give you an update with my knee injury, which explains why I haven't posted any open gym or tall ones videos recently. I'll also include all the links of my previous videos regarding my knee injury in the description box in case you want to catch up on all the progress up until this point. First, let me review the history of my knee injury. I first injured it last April of 2019 at the ELEVAT Volleyball League tournament. There wasn't a single moment where I injured my knee. Looking back, I think it was an accumulation of not landing properly from jumping, playing in stiff shoes on a hard surface, and growing muscular imbalances between my left and right leg. I eventually rehabbed it to around 80% and was able to compete in USAV Nationals, just not at full capacity. But all that jumping and traveling did re-injure it back to 60% after that tournament. I rehabbed it again and was able to get it back to 90% during the summer. I re-injured it again near the beginning of IVL, but it only regressed back to 80%. After that, I was able to rehab it back to 100% where it felt back to normal, and I started doing dunk training in addition to my regular jump training. I felt great going into 9-man nationals in September, but then on day 2 of that 3-day tournament, my knee started hurting and regressed back to 70%, and I continued to play on it on day 3 because we made it to the Gold Division playoffs and I didn't want to let my team down. I think it was all the jumping volume from the dunk training, volleyball training, and my regular jump training during July and August, where my knee probably wasn't ready for all that jumping volume, even though it felt 100% at the time. On top of that, I was taking tons and tons of out-of-system swings, which is the nature of my position in 9-man volleyball. This meant that I was spiking a lot of crazy sets, landing awkwardly, and pretty much not jumping or landing in the same way every time. I've played 9-man for many years and never had a problem with all the out-of-system attacking, but I just came back from a knee injury and was pushing my knee a little too far. On top of that, we were playing pretty much on concrete. After 9-man, my knee regressed back to 40%. Unfortunately, I had another volleyball tournament in China in November which I couldn't skip because I was being sponsored to play and I didn't want to let my sponsors down. So I rehabbed it again, but was only able to get it back to 60%. When it came time for my China volleyball trip, I was traveling 15 hours there and 15 hours back, playing 6 days of volleyball in a row, and it brought it back to 40%. At this point, I was just tired of dealing with my knee injury, and I had to consider my long-term knee health as well. So I made a conscious decision to stop all jump training and playing volleyball for 2 months. For all of you volleyball junkies out there, you know how hard it is to even go 1 week without playing volleyball, but I knew it was the right thing to do. I finally got an x-ray and saw a physical therapist, and all the medical professionals involved concluded that there was no structural damage, arthritis, or degeneration of the joint, which is great news. I also measured my thighs and learned that my left thigh is 2 inches smaller in circumference compared to my right thigh, which is crazy. As a right-left jumper, I plant my most powerful step with my right foot. This means that my right leg does most of the work and experiences most of the load during the penultimate step through knee and hip flexion and extension. This is very normal and actually what should be happening with proper jumping mechanics. But over time, the right leg gets stronger and stronger, and if you don't proactively strengthen your left leg, it will atrophy and become weaker and weaker, like mine did. Combine an already weakened left leg with landing on that leg over and over again, something is bound to give. The worst part is that I know better as a trainer, and I preach this to my clients, but I have to admit that sometimes I fail to follow my own advice. So please learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Instead of testing out my knee week by week through volleyball and jump training, I forced myself to take a break and just focus on truly healing my knee because I didn't want to go through this again. This meant no jumping, no intense weightlifting or plyometrics, and worst of all, no volleyball. But I knew I had to do it if I wanted a long and healthy volleyball career. During the last 2 months, I've been focusing on 4 things: active recovery and rest, improving stability and control of my left leg, increasing the muscle mass and strength of my left leg, and improving the landing mechanics of my left leg. For actively resting my knee, I've been avoiding any loaded knee extension positions and icing my knee 3 to 4 times per week after my workouts. I've been spending an extra 10 minutes warming up, which includes foam rolling every corner of my leg, using the hypervolt to ensure every part of my leg is activated, and maintaining mobility and flexibility. I've also been cycling or light jogging for 10 to 15 minutes, 1 to 2 times per week to promote more blood flow without irritating the knee. For improving stability and control, I've been warming up without my shoes to promote greater vestibular function and activating more foot muscles. I've also been doing a wide variety of single leg hops, dynamic balance, and single leg jumping drills. I try to utilize several planes of motion to help my knee handle not just vertical forces, but lateral and rotational forces as well. For increasing muscle mass and strength, I've been doing single leg extensions, leg curls, and leg presses 3 times a week to really get enough volume for hypertrophy. My recent favorite has been single leg deadlifts, which really isolates the glutes and hams, which help with stabilizing the knee and absorbing force. For improving landing mechanics, I focus a lot on landing both single and double leg. For single leg, I focus on emphasize shifting my hips back so that my glutes can absorb most of the force. Having a slight forward bend of the knee is also great for shifting some force away from the joint and into the quadriceps so that the upper and lower leg are not stacked directly on top of each other. When landing on 2 legs, I try to consciously focus on landing symmetrically and flexing my left leg, where before my right leg would compensate a lot on my landings. I started all of these movements with extremely lightweight and low platforms, and gradually increased the intensity as my knee felt better each week. My knee is about 90% right now and has been feeling a lot better these past few weeks. I finally felt comfortable incorporating some exercises that required my knee to bend at and below 90 degrees, such as full cleans and back squats, to start rebuilding my overall strength again. It felt so good to start doing more compound movements with greater loads, but still not very heavy. There is still some minor discomfort in the left knee, but nothing like there was before where I felt sharp pain just squatting down with body weight or walking up the stairs. I also started doing box jumps again with no pain. It felt amazing to jump again after not jumping for 2 months. I'm still stepping down from the box because I don't think my knee is ready to land from a 30-inch height yet. I'm also exclusively stepping down with my left leg to continue stimulating my left leg. So far, my left thigh already grew 1 inch in circumference, which took a lot of work. I can currently jump down from a 25-inch box with no pain. Next week, I'll try 30 inches. I'm being very conservative with my progress, so I won't spike a volleyball until I can land from a 35-inch box with no pain. I'll also be getting an MRI next week just to be 100% sure that everything is okay. I'm hoping to start playing volleyball again in 2 weeks, especially since our first ELEVAT Volleyball League tournament is on January 18th, and I want to play in that tournament so badly. If you're injured, I want to encourage you to work on other aspects of your training that won't aggravate your injury, because there's always something to improve regardless of what situation you're in. Thank you to all the fans that have been very encouraging and supportive throughout my whole knee recovery process. I truly appreciate that. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.